is being recorded by the Fire Station Building Committee. If there's any other persons present who are doing the same, you must notify the chairperson at this time. Jaden? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Jaden.
I'm
Next
sorry,
time you-
David. I didn't hear my name for the roll call. I might have missed it. It's Carol.
I'm sorry, Carol. Is Carol Collins here?
I am here. I'm raring to go.
Thank you.
And Jennifer Stromston is just now on.
Good. David, I also think you missed Peter. Peter MacGyver's on too.
I think I asked for Peter, but I'll ask for him again. Peter?
Present.
Great, okay. Thank you for the corrections. Okay, can I hear a motion, please, to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved.
Just say, thank you, Chief. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, have people had a chance to read and review the minutes and have any suggested changes? I have one. It's minor, but I can appreciate why it happened. Anybody else? Okay, on the last page, when it talks about next meeting, I think Peter meant, so we'll meet the second Thursday, which would be the 14th, which is today. So Peter, can you change that and submit a new one?
I will absolutely do that, and I will send the amended minutes out.
Great. Okay. So I don't think we need a motion to amend something that's factually true. So let's assume that that's just a typo. So in all other respects, oh yes, Fernando?
We're not recording right now. Just wanted to point that out.
I'm sorry?
We're not recording the meeting yet. So I just wanted to point that out.
How come?
Well, because I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
Do we need
Now
to
we
start
are.
again?
So you don't have to start over.
All right. I don't think anybody will object.
We can.
Peter.
stipulate.
Peter, as the provider of notes, you will note who was at the meeting, please,
Yes.
in your minutes, so then we don't have to worry about it, just people approving the minutes. What else do we talk about? All right, nothing else. And the idea. So now we're okay. So what we're doing, we're on so many things. We're on approval of the minutes. The second piece on the agenda. Been a motion made by, who made the motion again? Carol? Oh, Chief. Chief made the motion, seconded by the mayor to approve the minutes. I pointed out that the date on the third page should probably have meant January 14th, 2021, not December, which was our last meeting. So nobody had any objection. Okay. So with no objection and that being a factual change that's easy enough to make, all in favor say aye.
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 Raise your hand if you agree.
Aye.
Anybody who doesn't want to change the minutes, please say so. Please do so by saying no. Okay, minutes are passed. All right, now we get into the fun part. All right, so temporary fire station subcommittee report. David.
Yes, sir. All right, so the temp office and the apparatus bay RFPs have been issued to the public. We expect the temp office RFPs back on the 21st. That will get the wheels in motion for the ranking committee to review the technical portion. Neil and I have been going back and forth. He sent me some information regarding the envelopes and how to handle the envelopes, and also some information on dates on procedure. Once I review that information, I will make it public if I agree to the information. I think, Neil, you're going to be available tomorrow for me tomorrow.
Yes.
To review.
Yes.
Thank you. What it will come down to is starting on the 21st with the receiving of the RFP back on the temp office. We will spend, the ranking committee will spend the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever time they need to evaluate. And we will have our meeting on Monday at our regular time to start the process of review. And there'll be some steps that take place between Monday and the Thursday meeting where the temp subcommittee can make the recommendations to the full building committee on to be voted on.
David, the dates again, the date for the temporary meeting would be Monday, the 25th.
So we're gonna have we're gonna have the ranking meeting on Monday, the 25th. All welcome. And then we, looking at the schedule that Neil sent me that I'm reviewing, it looks like we will probably have to schedule a meeting to wrap this up on Wednesday, January 27th. So I'll talk to him tomorrow, and if we agree on that, I'll let the office and Caitlin know to schedule a meeting. We're gonna need a little time to regroup once we all review things, and then after Wednesday will be the Thursday meeting to present to the full committee.
Okay. Anything else you want to report? Is there anything that the full committee needs to do besides attend, if they wish, the two meetings before the next full committee?
No, I don't think there's anything you need to do. You're all welcome to attend the meetings, but definitely make sure everybody can attend the Thursday, January 28th meeting, because we really don't want to postpone the vote on the RFPs. We want to move forward as quick as possible.
So you said January 28th?
Thursday
I think
is January 28th.
Yeah, I'm
will be
sorry.
the
I
full-
thought, I think-
the full building committee.
I will not be able, the full building committee?
The full building committee is scheduled for the 28th. Yes.
Yeah, the second and
Yeah.
fourth Thursday.
I will not be able to attend that meeting, just letting you know.
Okay.
Please let us know what your feelings are though about the,
I will.
see each other again, but just, it's okay, I think, for you to let us know what your
Yeah.
thoughts are.
Yeah, I will.
And the mayor's also on the ranking committee.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. You'll
that's-
essentially have them.
Yeah. So that's the update, David, for the team.
Okay. And I just want to comment that I thought Jen Stromsten, people read her minutes from Monday's meeting. I think it outlined clearly what we had agreed to at the end about the process of opening bids, committee time, talking about bid subcommittee, and then going to the full council. So yeah, if people are confused about what's going to happen, I think you should read those minutes. And then we had a conversation at Monday's meeting about the bid process itself, and Neil sent out today, I don't know if he sent it to everyone, but I was copied an explanation of how the bid process works and how the non-price and price evaluations work. It's a real honor system, I have to say, and I guess you have to have witnesses who attest that this honor system was followed. Is that correct, Neil? Yeah, okay. So that process,
David.
yeah.
Dave, I just want to say that I do plan on sending this information out. I just want to review it and talk with Neil about it tomorrow before I send it out to the full team.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to assure people that we're not trapped at the highest, at the lowest price like we were concerned about. It's a combination of the non-bid evaluation and the price evaluation. So it's much more fluid. So
Yes.
that made me feel better. And I just thought I would generally tell the rest of the committee, if you had been at the meeting on Monday, that it's more fluid than we had thought. But we don't have to get into that detail until you're ready to do that. That's fine. Thank you. Next on the agenda is presentation by Neil, and Dennis, the usual, please update us. Neil, did you get the agenda ahead of time?
I just saw it this afternoon, David.
So it says there's an update by you. Is that something that you want to do now in the general part of the meeting, or do you have something generally for us to know? And then after Dennis speaks, you'll get into more detail.
At this point, David, most of my comments were covered by Dave Moscaratolo with regard to the temporary site. I certainly have questions and I'm anxious for an update on where we are with the permanent site. but I think that's going to be covered under a separate topic.
Okay, then I'll go to Dennis and then I'll let you speak in the next part of the agenda.
That's fine.
Dennis, you have anything to share with us?
We had a committee meeting 2 days ago, a subcommittee meeting, and we have 2 packages out to bid. First one, as you know, is for the prefab trailers, and the second addenda is going out tomorrow from Laura's office on that package, and then that'll be due next week. And then the tent structures, we're just wrapping that up, and that'll be going out to bid very shortly. And then Adam and Neil and Kate or I will be holding meetings with Marlowe and DPW to actually walk them through the various pieces of work so they know what to expect, what can they do, what should they do, et cetera, et cetera. That's happening next week also. That's really the basic update. I mean, things are exactly where, you know, we want them to be in terms of the timeline.
Just a
We
quick
have
correction,
good
the
interest in the bids, which is nice.
the apparatus bays are already out for procurement.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Adam?
Just a quick correction, the apparatus bays are already out for procurement.
Oh, they are. Okay, good.
Yes.
So anyway, we seem to have some pretty good interest from, I'll call them proposers, not bidders, because this is an RFP. And then you already heard the update from David in terms of, you know, putting together meetings and score sheets, et cetera, et cetera. So we've got a lot of moving parts, but they're all moving in the right direction.
Okay.
Dennis, do you want to just touch on the environmental testing and the results of the test pits that were dug? I think those were after the last meeting, so.
Save
sorry to
that for
interrupt
the, if we could we save that for the executive session, please?
At your request, Mayor, no problem.
Thank you.
Good question, though. Any questions, Neil, of Dennis besides that? Or prompting? No? Okay.
Good.
Great. And Dennis, thank you for that. Now, Dennis and Neil, please join us in the executive session. We're going to need your
Yes,
expertise.
absolutely.
Yeah, David, sorry for interrupting you, but I noticed that Laura Phelps has joined us, and if anybody had specific questions on the RFP process and how it, you know, the honor system, as you called it, she's here and could probably help answer any questions.
I just have to say that from our point of view, she's been a fantastic help. Thank you, Laura.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions of Laura at this point? We might need Laura, we might have to ask questions once we get real bids. So because there'll be real stuff in front of us. Anybody have any questions of her as the mayor had suggested? Okay, is there anything else you think we need to talk about before we go into executive session? Any members? Yes, Chief. Oh, thank you, Chief. Good prompt.
I am going to ask for a motion from the committee to authorize the expenditure of up to $15,000 so that I can start working on storage problems for us to move into our temporary. It's going to take a few months for us to put together, but I want to start being able to work on that. And there are some expenditures that I'd like to be able to expend and not having a defined procedure right yet. So I'd like a motion, if that's acceptable to everybody, up to $15,000 for specifically for storage of stuff at the firehouse in anticipation of moving into the temporary.
Yes, Mayor.
Could I ask Bob, if it's more appropriate for the discussion after the motion, that's fine. But I think he needs to let the committee, before we move on or vote on 15,000, what it is exactly that needs to be stored.
Sure. Yeah, so we're looking at a bare minimum right now of two 20-foot Connex trailers, either rent or purchase, whatever is going to be cheapest to do so. The site yet to be determined where they're going to go. That is going to be the non-temperature control things for the firehouse. We're talking a couple months before we're going to be ready to do this, but there are some items that we're working on now to start prepping. The other one would be shelving that is either going to go in those Connex trailers or going into another location that we're working on. But it's little expenditures like that that we can start working on the next few months. My fear is that I know it's January, and I know that it seems like it's short time, but for us, as I tried to explain at the last meeting, we need to start working on it now, because outside of the move for the fire station, there is a tremendous amount of projects that are all coming up at the same time within the fire department. And I don't want to be scrambling. So I just want to start working on it now.
Chief, we had also discussed including a mobile shredding service that could come in and shred old records, as the case may be.
That is correct. So anything that is going to help us get us jump on the actual move, I'd rather take it in little pieces than trying to do it all in a matter of a couple weeks.
Chief, if the vote were to be passed, what is the process for payment when a bill comes due? Is this something that you could pay for yourself, or does it have to go through the town system to pay the vendor?
Liz?
Yeah, it has to go through the town system. We have one process in place for the library that I would assume we would follow a similar process to where the project manager, in this case Neil, would authorize something, but also the chief would also, as a town employee, okay it, and then it just goes through the regular system.
And my second question.
And then the invoices would come to the committee for approval, or if that was amenable to.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about us approving. I guess what I want to make sure is that, just for your sake too, Chief, is that if you were to give that bill to Liz, for example, Liz, would you, if you paid the bill, mark it off within the budget as, $10 towards this line item or $15 towards this line item? So that if we could see, let's say, in a month, if we had to, that 15,000 was spent on these 10 things, because we would see the budget shift, right? That's how it would.
I've asked Laura to work with Neil to refine how y'all want the budget, so I can, if I need more accounts, I'll set them up within the fire station project.
So Liz, what we'll be doing is we'll have subsets of the budget over maybe 5 or 6 different categories of work. There might be anywhere between a half a dozen or so categories under each of those line items. And we'll provide a payment recommendation letter and a budget update each month that tracks the costs, where they're allocated. And at any one point in time, we can generate a summary of the total cost to each individual line item, when they were paid, who they were paid to, and generically what they were for. So that's part of our function as in terms of our budget.
It's always good when it's nice to the system.
Right.
So, we'll have to make sure that happens. So anyway, that's all I need is a list. And if you have subcategories, you and I and probably Laura can decide whether we want the subcategories or the main category within our system. I understand what you're saying. So I just need the list.
Yep, I understand. We'll put something together for you.
All right, perfect.
David, do you have a question?
I have some questions, but I don't know if I want to ask them until after the motion, because I'm assuming we're going to have a discussion, or I can ask them now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, to me, the motion would be that we authorize the spending of this money within the budget, that we've created. And that, and then a second, we can have further discussion at that point. So can I have a motion? I can't make the motion, I'm the chair.
So move.
Thank you, Jean. Did you get, Peter, do you understand what the motion is? It wasn't,
Yes, I've got it.
okay, great. Second, I need a second?
Second.
All right, great. Okay, discussion. David.
I just had some general questions, maybe one of them to Neil. When it comes to either renting or having to purchase these trailers, is that something that we have to go through the state list for, or is that something we could just go out on our own and price out? Do those have to be purchased through the state list, the bidders list?
So there is a requirement, there are procurement requirements that have various dollar thresholds. Anything under $10,000 requires what they call best practice. So we would solicit multiple prices from a couple of different vendors. Those solicitations would go into the project file, but you are not required to go to a pre-approved vendor or anybody else for minor purchases. For anything between $10,000 and $25,000, which I don't think we would approach under this appropriation, there's a requirement to obtain request three written quotes based on a fixed scope of work. I would expect that we'll see that as part of the temporary fire station work as we move forward. And then anything over, I believe it's $25,000 requires a bid. So we'll revisit all of those thresholds and the different levels that's required by the procurement, and Laura and I will be working together, I would guess, in a seamless basis as we have done in the past, just to make sure that the town and the city is covered.
Thanks, Neil.
Chief.
Yeah, and so we also have.
Excuse me, Chief. Do you have several questions, David?
I can take my turn. I just have a few questions, but that's fine. No worries.
Chief, do you mind, or is that an answer to his question you're going to give?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up with Neil's comment, and that is we have town procedures that we have as well that require purchase orders at a lower amount than those, and so we will be following the town procedures as well as what's set by the state. Thank you.
Go ahead, David.
Obviously, the chief and his crew know exactly what has to be moved and the amount of material. But will it be wise to put an inventory list together is one question I have. And then the second question is, who is actually going to be doing all this work, shredding papers and moving stuff around? Is that going to be fire station personnel, town personnel, or are we hiring people to do this type of work?
I will answer that. That's exactly what we're looking into, David.
Okay, so we're gonna put an inventory list together, and then we're just gonna see who's best appropriate to do the work. Is that what the answer?
Yeah, so we already have a small working group of retired firefighters and firefighters that are working on putting together our quote artifacts within the department.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, like, if you ever move on a house, you're going to find stuff that you didn't even know you had.
Sure.
And so that's kind of where we're at here. And so, like I said the other night, it is a daunting task that needs a lot of attention. And so we're working on that. But as we're going through that, we'll be boxing things up. And some simple things like purchasing, moving boxes is stuff that I want to start working on now, because I've got other big projects that are going to be coming up right before we move.
Well, the reason why I ask is because the fire personnel are busy and they have important jobs. So I'm wondering, do we have to do a call out for volunteers? Are there other town people that can help out? I mean, is there any laws that we can't have volunteers on the property doing the work? I just want to make sure. I don't want you and your team to be overwhelmed dealing with packing boxes if you have to be out there saving lives and fighting fires.
David, I absolutely appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's why I'm starting in January and not March or April or May.
Okay.
I will be doing a lot of the paperwork going through and seeing what's going towards the shred pile and what's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, please let the team know if you need help manpower wise.
Absolutely.
Because I just think it's not the best value for your folks to be doing shredding papers. But thanks, David. Those are the questions that I had.
Okay, anybody? Yes, Mayor.
Just wanted to double check. I'm not sure that this body needs to approve those invoices. The city procedures really do account for that. So I suppose if you wanted to see them or see an accounting of them, they would certainly be happy to provide that for you. But their whole process also includes invoice approval, either through the accountant or the, well, her name's Tara. I forget what her title is, but accounts payable person. So
I
Um,
wasn't
was-
sure there was I wasn't sure there was a question about the team having to approve it.
it
We
was
just need
said
to approve it.
earlier on while we
Chief
were
did, Chief.
discussing for the motion.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If I could, my experience would be that I mean, it's okay that we approve the funds and that's what the motion is, but after that, I would think that the town does its thing that it normally does. There's safeguards obviously built in based on what we just heard. And then that the committee now receive, I would hope at every meeting, since we're now spending money, the budget and what has been spent, so that we are the overseers of what's happening by seeing those budgets. Neil, I don't know if that's unreasonable, but at least some periodically, be able to see that. So that would be our duty, would be to see that it's actually, we're the last people to see that everything's being taken care of. But as far as us voting on each invoice, I don't think that's either appropriate or what any of the people at City Hall want to see us do, so.
Yeah, the only thing I would
Neil,
add, David, the only thing I would add is that it's important for all of the invoices to flow through my hands, just so that I can
Okay.
do my accounting, and then they get forwarded to Liz. Liz does her accounting, and then we do periodic audits, if you will, as the project continues. I'll send Liz, a request for schedule of bills paid, and I will refer that or reference that back through my cost report and make sure that I've got everything that Liz does.
Right,
Do you think that we need to amend the motion, or do you think that will happen without that formality?
I think that will happen without any amendment.
All right.
It should be the standard practice, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's, if we vote to do it, it'll get done. If we don't vote to do it, it could still get done. So I just want to make sure that it gets done. So before we vote, I want to say for the record that co-chair Butch Hawkins is now at the meeting. Welcome.
Aloha.
It's getting
Aloha.
annoying to see you in Hawaii, so you better come home soon.
Yeah. Whatever it says.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second, we've had discussion. Is there any more discussion necessary? Okay, I'm going to call the vote. Mayor, yes or no?
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Butch?
Yes.
Chief?
Yes.
David M?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
I don't think Herb is here, so, but if you are, okay, I'll give you Steve?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
Jean Wall?
Yes.
Did I say Jean or Jen? I'm sorry, Jen. Did I say Jen? Okay, good. And David Singer, yes, good. Okay, unanimous approval. In going over the agenda again, Neil, I'm sorry, there was, had asked that there be a specific reporting outlining use of the budget as we move into the various build-outs and construction phases of the projects. Do you believe you've done that already, or is that something that I should give you extra time to do?
No, I think the intent of the discussion was to at least lay the groundwork for the chief to make the request in funds. we sort of did it backwards, but I think we've accomplished what we wanted to today.
Okay, good. All right, Butch, Butch, is there anything else you want to add to that since you put that on the agenda? Any other questions you might have? Yeah, put the suntan lotion down and put your all right, you're good? All right. So we're at the end of the agenda before we go into executive session. So the next meeting would be the 28th. On Monday, the 25th. There'll be good work by the temporary committee, and keep your eyes open, and I'm sure there'll be a notice that on the 27th, there'll be a final workout with which bids are going to be recommended. And so that I'm going to ask members of this committee if they would try to attend some, if not all, of those meetings, so that by the time we get around to Thursday, we're all educated up to the same place, and the vote would be easier. If you can't, you can't, and so we're happy to catch you up. But I know there's going to be a lot of good detail in those meetings that will help us to make the decision rather than having to hear about it the first time on Thursday. Okay. So number one, if we vote for an executive session, I'm going to adjourn in the right after the executive session or in the executive session. So we won't be coming back into regular session for the public to know that. I need a motion. I believe as the chair that we need to go into executive session to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property at Main Street and Coombs Avenue. And I declare that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. I need a motion to that.
So moved.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second,
Second?
Mayor.
Yes, I don't think there's discussion. I'm not a rules guy, but if somebody need to discuss this, it's going to go roll call. All right, so if you vote yes, you're
Roll
voting
call.
to move into executive session. Now, you've been given the executive session information I think Caitlin sent us both links. No?
Yeah,
Yes.
an
I have
email.
not received it either.
Oh, she sent out the email. I can send it to you.
It's in the email that got you here.
Oh, okay.
Email
Sorry.
that got you here has the link a little bit below this link.
I did not get an email for this meeting either.
Who did? Dennis?
So why don't we
Katrina,
just
somebody?
why don't
Send
we
it to
send
you,
everybody
Adam.
an email? All right.
I'll
10
I'll
minutes.
send it.
All right, before we vote and go, 10 minutes from now? Give everybody a chance.
Do we need a 10-minute break?
Yes, so just give people a chance to get the notice, and it's 10 minutes. If it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, get it.
Okay, okay.
I see people make this fun responding. Okay, so roll call vote to go into executive session. Mayor,
Yes.
Butch,
Yes.
Chief,
Yes, if I can get that sent to me, please.
thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, yes?
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Herb. Okay, here. Steve,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Liz,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
David, yes. Okay, see you in
Okay,
10. See,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have Adam Champagne, Dennis Ross, and Robert Strahan needing the link. Who else?
Me,
Carol.
please.
Anybody else?
Mayor, that was the email that came out from Caitlin Von Schmidt. Is that correct?
Yesterday, I think.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
All right.
I believe Caitlin didn't have the full email list. I'm working on forwarding it right now.
I didn't have it either, Mayor. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just sent it. So I'll send it to you too.
Thank you.
Bob, Robert, whatever.
all right, let's try to reconvene at 4:45.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.